Ox, do you feel that that the Bok side perform better when they run onto the field without the favourite tag? And if so, why?
I mean, we had a goal, and which was to end the drought in Australia, and I think everyone like we were all like properly aligned, and then it's not really about having like the not the favorite tag, but I think it's more about being more aligned and what we want to reach as a team and how we want to achieve it. So yeah, I think that was the main difference.
Hello, Ox. Can you tell me what you guys make of the Argentina's scrum? You've had the All Blacks, you've had the Aussies. Where do they sort of rank in the scheme of things as far as you guys are concerned? How they scrum?
I think they scrum pretty well. I mean, if you look at the stats, they retain most of their balls. Yeah, especially in the championship this year, and they've done so well. So I think they're pretty good. Like even in terms of like set piece, they're a pretty good team. And I mean, they prepare well. They like you can even see how they scrummed against Australia and how they scrummed against the All Blacks. It's like they prepped for it and they had a plan to how to counter the both teams scrum. So I think it's going to be a great challenge, and the main thing is going to be about who prepares the most. But I think they do really good preparations, and yeah.
Speaking of the set piece and obviously the loose play that follows after, for instance, your set pieces, especially referring to the mauls, there's been a new dynamic in the way that we've seen it, and we've heard from the people in charge for your training about the success or not of the maul. How would you describe it? Is it, first of all, still effective as far as your rugby, the type of rugby that you play? And secondly, what do you expect from the Argentina's team as far as the maul and especially the contest in the maul is concerned? Thank you.
To answer the first part, I think I mean, it's still pretty effective. It still does like get to the legs whether you like it or not. And the longer you can get a team to defend against your mauls, I think that you're gonna see later in the game. I mean, we more pretty well against Australia in the second test, and then you could see towards the end of the game how just kind of like became difficult for them to get around the park and all of that. So I think if it's done properly, then it's still pretty effective. And to answer your second part, I think Argentina are gonna be like a pretty good battle because I mean we saw even in the first test against the All Blacks how they disrupted their lineouts and knew exactly what to expect. And even when they played well against Australia, it was when they like when they set PCs, they got into like the loose play, and they got like that's how they retain most position. So I think it's gonna be a good challenge. They prep well, like I said before, and in terms of like how they stop mauls, it's sort of like we have to make a plan around that because we've seen they stop mauls pretty well, and yeah, we just have to find a way to make sure that they don't stop us and we stop them.
Ox, does this Pumas side play a different brand of rugby under Michael Nche? If so, can you please elaborate on this?
Um, uh, well, it's 50-50, I have to say, because I mean, if they can destructure you, they attack pretty well. But then the difference is, I think, is that they set pieces like under control, like their scrums are going well and their lineouts are going well. So they kind of, or like I think they put a lot of attention, like emphasis into that, and you see it in the games. But when they're given a chance to like play what they've always been known for playing the ball around, running with the ball. They do that. So I think it's a 50-50. They improved a lot in terms of set piece, and they still have that X factor of their backs running onto forwards, like running it all the way from their own half and, just moving the ball around. So, it's more or less 50-50. It's a balanced team, I have to say.
How tough has it been for you guys, to prepare for the scrum battle against teams this season? It seems like each week, you guys go from one week where the Boks are dominating, then the second week the other team seems to be able to nullify you guys. So has it been very tough in that teams have sort of been able to respond in the second week against you guys and put in a better showing? And then the other thing I wanted to ask was how tough is it also to get settled with the way that they change the guys in the front row so often? Every week we see a different guy playing. Is that quite tough to sort of settle in with so much competition there?
Okay, to answer your first part, Ross, I have to say, I mean, we before we play a team, we do a prep, and the next week they probably have like plans to kind of change the picture for us and like get out of their system to try something new. So, and I think, that's the main thing about it. Everyone just preps pretty well for the other, and like you probably have seen as that, like in the first games we do our prep because we know we have an idea how they're gonna scrum and what they might try, and then in the second game they probably have like a way to try and nullify that or take like the upper hand away from us. So yeah it just comes in prep, and the sooner we can adjust in the games, I think the better we can do. Second part would probably say, I mean, I wouldn't, I don't think there's much because, I mean, even at practice, we change, if we do our scrum sessions, we change our front rows a lot. We try new, different combinations. We try lock combinations, who scrums where to improve. And I think in terms of that, it doesn't really play a part in the game because the packs are like a pretty like even out in terms of that. It's just like how we adapt and communicate with each other that would like I think will play a big role going forward, and well eventually finding the combinations that work for like the specific games that we play on the weekend or whatever. Yeah.
Ox, last question from me as far as specifically from set piece play, albeit scrums or your lineouts. You've touched on the difference of the Argentinians compared to the other two teams. I suppose it's also a given that it is playing against three different teams as far as attack and defense is concerned. Do you have to prepare, therefore you have to prepare differently for the way that the Argentinians especially, that you will anticipate, and looking back at how they performed against the All Blacks, how they attack the first, second, third channels as well as into the midfield, and the roles of you as tight players. Are they the same? Are you adapting? Are you anticipating something else as far as not only attack but also defense is concerned? And can you elaborate a little bit there if it's possible? Thanks.
Well, I think we just, in terms of our systems, we're gonna try implement our like the same systems that we have been doing, but probably execute it much better and more accordingly to how Argentina play. Because I think the main thing about us is that like the system doesn't change. We trust the system, and within the system, you do what you have to do, and yeah, it's I mean it's just that it's we just have to impose ourselves onto them, I guess. And we like there's no like a different way of prepping. Like we'll definitely like the guys that are not playing the NPS, we'll prep the guys in terms of what pictures or paint whatever pictures we expect them to bring, and then we'll just keep that in system. But the main thing I think for us would probably they always come up with something different, something special. When like I mean, in all the games, like in most of the games. So especially like in a game like this, I mean, it's in the home crowd, and they're probably gonna try to risk it and do something different. And we we might have a few plans just in case something we don't expect comes up, but I think they're definitely gonna try and do something, whether in terms of malls or set piece, or even just to bring in a special move to just try to change our defensive picture or something. So I think we as a team, like, we all expecting that, and we'll be as prepped as possible. And I don't know, I can't actually go into much detail. So yeah, that's all I have to say.